Right, so welcome to the HR Committee Meeting. So before we start, need to propose that agenda items 61, 62, 63, 64 and 65 are moved to the end of the agenda.
I'll propose that.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody happy?
Yes.
Okay, so agenda item 56, apologies for absence and reasons given. Everybody's present, so no apologies. Item 57, declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of interest in accordance with the requirements of Localism Act 2011 and to consider any request for dispensations in respect of pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest in agenda items.
Nothing.
No? Item 58, minutes of the previous meeting. To read the notes of the meeting of the 5th of November and the HR subcommittee notes of the meeting of the 22nd November as minutes. Is everybody happy?
Yeah.
Right, I'll just sign them.
I can't find my agenda.
It's in the folder.
Yeah, I'm in HR agendas, but the last one's August. Yeah, Yeah, that's what it's August.
There should be a folder for the 1st of December. You might need to refresh you.
If we go in documents, it says documents were added yesterday, but my folder's empty.
Okay.
You should be able to print it off from there, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I can try and put the agenda off from here. I'm not here. Right, they're all done. Do you want me to try and print it off?
I'm just seeing I'm going in via the email. Because there's nothing on my OneDrive.
Don't know. I've got the OneDrive open now and it's are you going to full council, HR, confidential?
Full council,
HR.
HR.
HR confidential.
Yeah.
Ah, see, I went to HR agendas.
Yeah, so that's what threw me.
HR agendas?
Yeah, there's a folder saying HR agendas. Which
Yeah.
I think is self-explanatory.
It is, but you don't want to go in that one.
Yeah, because it's not in there.
No, it's the confidential folder.
Oh,
You go in.
was it? Yeah, I didn't create that, sorry. It's HR confidential,
I
And
know
then-
that one, yeah.
agendas, and then 1st of December.
Yeah, I've got that one. And can you delete that other one?
I'll delete that other one, yeah, because it hasn't got anything in it.
I was going to say, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so it's
got
got
agendas.
up to August in it.
Yeah, that's where I go.
Yeah, that's why I hadn't seen this
It
one.
won't be Jan, because Jan doesn't touch anything with HR, but it could be Brandy.
It could be Brandy, because you've
Yeah.
got them in there, yeah. Okay.
Anywho,
Anyway, now, thank you.
Good, good. Okay. Just open the agenda up again. So, item 59, to agree solutions for improving the safety of employees. So, we've already agreed that we were going to be purchasing man-down devices, which Brandy is looking into options for them, with the thought of purchasing ready for next financial year, because that's when the budget's set for it. In terms of other solutions for safety of employees, has anybody got anything?
I just think even a personal alarm for Jan and Brandy, they're very little cost. They're about £5-6 on Amazon, and just while they're locking up on their own,
Yep.
especially
Would be a
dark
bad
nights, I just think it's
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we're going to be looking at the man-down devices for the parks team and litter picker, then, you know, a basic personal alarm for the
For the office staff, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they're sort of handbag size. They're not an issue for them to carry even. It's just
Yeah.
something that
And then the only other thing that I would be suggesting that we do need to do more urgently is we do need to put a catch lock of some sort on Randy's door,
Yeah.
just so it can be shut and locked.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, I would like to look into, like we said, about getting the,
It's on full council
Yeah.
agenda.
that would be
So-
a really
Well, the
good
window.
system, getting the windows so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they are less accessible.
Because then you can keep the door shut at all points.
Yeah.
We don't have that many people come in.
I don't know. I
You'll be
was in,
surprised.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
surprised, I've been quite surprised when I've been in, how
Yeah.
many people wandering, ferrying.
Yeah.
last week, well, there was one day when we were here for about 84 hours,
Hmm.
and there was people in and out that door
Yeah.
all morning.
Yeah, and the problem, you
For
can't
the
see.
parish council or for other areas.
Other areas, but they don't know where they're going, do they?
So a lot
Oh,
of
they see
them
an
are
open
for
door, go
parish
there.
council either to do a lot of stuff to do with allotments or cemeteries. You get
Yeah,
people
but
in.
Brandy's
Yeah.
not there to be a receptionist for everybody else.
No, but that's why we need,
Needs a sign going up.
yeah,
Because they wander through to the nearest open door and
That's
then
right.
disturb people
Yeah.
regardless.
and
So
that could be anybody just wandering in, couldn't it? Because there is
Yeah.
nothing to stop people just,
No, nothing whatsoever. That front door's open, isn't it, when it's
Yeah.
unlocked?
I mean, the idea's been discussed at planning and then it's going to go to full council this time so we can have discussions about what we think's best. But so we say a personal alarm and a catch lock for Brandy's office door.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is everybody happy? If
Does
that's
Jan's
okay?
door lock?
Yeah, that has a lock on
Yeah.
it, so it can be pulled shut
Yeah.
all the time, or you can
Okay.
leave it off the couch.
Yeah, I'll propose it.
So there's
Yeah,
no
that's
lock
okay.
on the little door.
No, because it was originally a meeting room, so there's never been a lock on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That's fine then. Agenda item 60, to agree to recommend to full council amendments to the clerk's delegated powers. So this is things that have been brought up on Jan's Silver training. Obviously, you can have loads of delegated powers for the clerk, the same as you do for other officers and things like that in councils. One thing that she has brought up to me, which she felt would be a good idea, is her having delegated powers to accept apologies. Because at the moment, the way we sort of do it is slightly wrong, because we give apologies for a meeting, but you won't announce what the reason for apology is at that meeting. So councillors don't necessarily know, they just know that Jan's seen them and they're acceptable reasons. But most councils, the clerk will accept the apologies themselves,
Seems
but then
logical.
just notify the councillors at the meeting, say so and so's got these apologies.
We don't need to know why councillors on it.
No, and then it keeps it all confidential and,
I
you know.
mean, she doesn't state anyway.
No, but if we don't know the reason, how can we
Yeah, that
accept
was-
it as acceptable?
I must admit, that
You see
first
what I mean?
meeting I did, there
Yeah.
was apologies, and I'm like, yeah, I'll agree, but I didn't really know
Well, yeah,
what
so,
you're agreeing to, so it's a bit of a pointless exercise, isn't it?
yeah.
Are we going to get a list of the amendments she wants?
Well, there's two. So
Yeah, that's
the apologies one, and then the other one that I've had discussions with her about is the way we sort of thought about wording it is for her to have delegated powers to instruct staff to carry out minor works not previously agreed with authority from two councillors.
So under a certain price bracket.
Yeah, so that wouldn't include stuff that's for price, because she already has delegated powers for up to £500 with two councillors. So this is like, if there's something that needs doing in the park and it hasn't been previously put on the work schedule, but it needs doing,
Yeah.
with just two councillors, any two councillors, she's got authority to then instruct them to carry out that work.
So, for example, what?
For example, if there's been vandalism in the park and you've got to clear away a bench or something.
That's what we've been doing though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing, but it's just formalising that there is delegated authority to do so. And also, like, if you, for some of the things, it just happens and we instruct and that's fine. Some of the things then get emailed out to open spaces, but sometimes there's been a struggle where things need doing, and you don't always get 3 responses to be core. You see what I mean? So if you reduce it down and
Well, there's only 4 of us on the panel.
yeah, so if you write it down and say 2 councillors, then if you were really struggling from one committee, you would then just accept 2 councillors anywhere.
I just want
Just
to
to
make
get
sure,
things
because I don't want things happening and not knowing what's going on.
Oh no, you'd still definitely be informed, so if whichever committee it's relevant to, you'd be informed. But just so we can get things moving, it's not going to be like things that can be pre-planned.
No,
It's things that just need doing
it's
on
just
the
need
day.
doing when it's found out, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And it's just making that process smoother and also
Yeah.
written down, so there is a procedure for things. Just so.
Okay.
So I'm happy to propose those 2 amendments to agree and apologies, and also the one that I said.
There's 2
So,
amendments to the,
yeah, to the delegate powers. So I will word that up because that's going to go to full council. So I'll write it out in full as a proposal and put it in the draft.
thank you.
Seconder? All agreed?
Yeah.
Good. Item 61, to agree an annual review and acceptance process for all written policies and procedures.
We've got 2 60s.
Yeah. So item 61. So again, just making sure that we've got a process where every year we have a list of policies that are written out. They're all then reviewed at the relevant dates.
We missed out the employees handbook.
I've got several 60s, sorry. Item 60,
68, 60B and 60C, shall we?
yeah, 60B,
Yeah.
to agree to recommend to full council amendments to the employee handbook.
That's the one.
Okay. So the employee handbook's been put on the folder. And I've already started making some amendments to it. But it's just, your thoughts of any other things that you feel need changing. Because we reviewed it previously, but then as we go through things and things crop up, you just think, well, that probably needs a bit of a tweak, or that needs adding. And then once we've got kind of our idea, we can then, keep working on it and then take it to full council.
It's a working document, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I just wanted to see a list of the amendments and what we're changing.
The amendments are in the folder. I don't think it's opening properly. It was to safeguards and security. There was one of them for the key holding and alarm setting. Just clarifying when it says you must not give keys, alarm code or access, saying, keys, alarm code or access to parish council owned or managed spaces to any third party, unless authorisation obtained from your line manager. And at the moment it says you must not give the keys or alarm code to other people. So that was added in there. I did have the one where it was all highlighted. I haven't even worded it properly. It's opening. But does anybody have any suggestions other than the ones that were in the?
I can't agree on ones I don't know anything about, and I can't open it to look to see what's changed.
Okay.
It's that difficult, isn't it?
So do we?
I mean, there were a few things that came out recent HR issues that we did say we would look at. I can't get it open either at the moment. There are some changes need making
Oh, most definitely.
to cover us. So can we postpone this one? re-look at the book
And have a look at
come
it in
back
detail.
to it.
Yeah.
Please. So do you want that deferring?
Yeah, so if we can all have a read through the employee handbook, the way I've started doing it is I've actually amended it in the document, so I've created a new document. So if we can all look at that, put our own amendments in there and work on it together,
Yeah,
and then
Yeah.
hopefully have something that we can bring to a full council meeting after Christmas or
Yeah.
something like that.
Because that'll be
Absolutely.
amended again once you've got your man down system as well.
Yeah, that's it.
We really need to think about things that are going to be changing in the future.
Yeah, pop it in now so
If-
that
yeah.
it's, so like the girl's personal alarm, the man down system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a few things.
I
aren't
know the
there,
key thing cropped up recently, so obviously that needs change.
Yeah.
But, like I say, until I know
Yeah.
the rest of it, it's a bit hard to...
Yeah, I must admit, I need to be reading it to say this was the bit that,
Yeah, and actually go through it. So if we
Yeah.
can all go through it with fine tooth comb,
Can
Right.
you resend it then?
I can resend it, so I'll email out the document, and it's got amendments in it, so if you write comments and stuff on the document, then everybody can see it.
If you do it by email and not put it in one of these folders. 'cause
Yeah.
some
yeah,
things
I do
don't work
struggle with
in
the
it.
folders.
Do you?
Yeah,
Well,
I-
mine is,
yeah.
the ones I got a couple of days,
On-
Jam was
on-
corrupt.
On my one of those, it's just not.
Yeah, see,
well, not
I always
bother.
use it on my laptop,
Yeah.
so it works better.
I've done it on this and on my tablet.
Yeah,
Don't
Works
use
fine on
Jam.
an iPad.
Does it?
Yeah, flash.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right, so we're going to amend that one and agree to defer it to our next meeting.
Yes.
please.
So, to propose to defer the agenda item.
Don't go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Don't make this complicated.
Sorry. So, item 60C, to agree an annual review and acceptance process for all written policies and procedures.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be quite simple, just a page at the end of the document with a couple of columns on it that says for the amendment, date, who made the amendment, what it
Mhm.
related to.
But then it has to be signed by,
It'll go to the full council
yeah,
anyway.
it needs to make sure that,
Yeah.
because once you've signed it, and I think staff should
Mhm.
sign to say they've reread.
Yeah.
So, in terms of, we would have a bit at the end of every single document
Yeah.
to show the amendments when it was reissued,
Yeah,
yeah.
etc.
And you can have a minute reference box on it.
Yeah, and when they were
Totally.
agreed.
Mm.
And then we really need another document where it's a list of the policies and then
they
you
sign
sign
against
to.
once.
Yeah, that you've
Yeah.
read it and understood.
Yeah.
So the question is, for members of staff, are we getting them to read and sign every single policy or ones that are relevant to their roles? Because obviously it's different for us, we're smaller, so we've got less
Yeah.
policies, but for a large organisation, you wouldn't give every single
No,
policy to.
So there's a lot of stuff
all
with
of staff.
finance that they wouldn't need to
Yeah.
see.
And then, like, again, I went through the website just to see what we've got. Councillor Code of Conduct and Councillor Co-option policies
Yeah.
are not
Yeah,
relevant
not relevant
No.
to
to.
anybody.
But then the
Or
procurement
others.
policy one is.
Yeah.
So,
You're going to have, I would say you'll have a set of policies that obviously everything will go to full council.
yeah.
You'll have a set of policies that are relevant for office staff because they are dealing with them day to
Yeah,
day. And then you'll have a set of policies that are relevant for the parks team and litter picker.
Yeah.
That's the more basic ones of
Hmm.
what they need to know day to day.
I don't want it to end up like I only read the policies for open spaces. I think all councillors should read.
Oh, no,
all
yeah, definitely.
policies.
Yeah, I think
Councillors
as
should read
councillor,
everything.
councillors we should read them all.
I mean, I read the finance ones, huh? So you're on the committee.
Yeah, I did.
But, oh, I am now, did you know?
I did know it.
But I've forgotten myself. But the parks team don't really need to
No.
read. So I agree that we could split them
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then in a staff meeting, so when Jan does a staff meeting with all of them,
Yeah.
she can just say, right, by next week can you have read all of those?
Yeah.
Because next week I'm going to ask you to sign them all.
Yeah.
As simple as.
And again, realistically, issuing them directly, we don't necessarily need to do that because
No,
they are
it can
all
go out
on
an
the
email, but
website.
if she says, please can
Yeah.
you have read?
Yeah, yeah.
Because once, so long as she gets them to sign a date.
Yeah, yeah.
To say that they break
I
the
have,
business.
the topical reads mean that I have read and understood
Yeah.
the following policies.
Yeah. And then do that every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all we need to really do then, if I put another agenda item for the next meeting, to agree which policies
Yeah.
for
Which are which, yeah.
are which.
Remnants, yeah.
Yeah.
Which?
And then we're all ready for when we're going to review.
Yeah.
The question is, when do you sort of want the annual review to be?
End of the
I suppose?
financial year.
Is,
Yeah, I was just gonna
all
say.
our policies up to date now?
No.
I think there's some that still are needing review.
Yeah.
I don't know which committees they're relevant
We
to.
came across a few HR ones that.
Yeah,
Mm.
so,
So until we've got everything up to date,
But actually, this would be a good exercise for us now, to be
Yeah.
rereading the policies now,
Exactly.
so that we can see which ones need.
yeah, I think
updating.
if we're saying that we're aiming for an annual review where we re-agree them in April,
Yeah.
Yeah,
then we could say, I can do that in my HR report, so all committees really need to be going through all their policies
Yeah.
and start reviewing them.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
And then, you know, if they do need a mid-term review because there's tweaks and changes that need to be made, they can be done.
Mm.
But we really need to be setting an annual date to
Yes.
make sure it happens.
yeah. And I think you're right, April is a good time because.
It is, because that's when all the new rules
Yeah.
come into place, isn't it? So,
Okay.
ideal.
So we're proposing then that we'll have an annual review in April.
Yeah.
Every single policy will have a bit at the bottom to say when the amendments were made, what's amendments made, and
Yeah.
who by, etc.
And the next review date.
And
Yeah,
the next review date. And then we will have on the next agenda to finalise which policies are going to be for the annual acceptance programme for all members of staff.
yeah.
Right. Can I have a seconder for that then? Thank you. All agreed? Right. Let's skip through those ones. So, item 66, because the other ones are at the end of the agenda. Items for discussion and agenda item requests. Does anybody have any? We're going to have the employee handbook for next meeting, and
Because then that
also,
one that's been missed off for me,
yeah,
which we can add if you want, and that is if anybody has booked a course and doesn't attend it, then they should reimburse the council with the costs.
yeah,
the problem I had is I did let them know I couldn't attend and they said, Jan, I haven't, so I forwarded the email they
Yeah.
sent me.
Well, I think as long as you've got the proof then that you have let them know.
See, I haven't, because I didn't tell them.
No.
Yeah.
So I owe £11.50, which I'm going to give to Jan when I see her.
Yeah, so we can add that to, I'll see if we can add it to full council.
Yeah.
Because the agenda hasn't gone out for that
Mm.
yet. And then, yeah, so employee handbook and also the acceptance for
Yeah.
each policies.
And the only other thing is, are all councillors up to date on their training? And are we keeping a training record?
The training
Should be.
record was something I was just about to ask.
We do
about.
have a training record for
Yeah.
all councillors. The only one that we said all councillors need to do is data protection training, which given we've got new councillors, we will do
It
that.
must be coming up for a year since we did that anyway.
It must be, yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah, because I initiated that when I was chair of data protection, and that's a while ago.
Yeah, so that can all be called in at the same time.
Yeah, and if that can be
So-
done at the same time, annual review, so
Yeah.
everything's reviewed April time before we then change over chairs, because you don't want to do it when you've just
No,
got
it's
new
not fair on a
chairs.
new chair to.
Can't we do it, bring it forward a little bit so not everything is bummed in April?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just thinking about
Last week of March.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But we'll go for a February for that then.
I just think just to
To
spread
do a
the
training
training a bit,
review, yeah.
especially if we're going to be reading a lot of policies,
yeah.
you know, because some of them aren't that short.
Mhm.
No, I mean, we should be reviewing our own policies now, or the chairs
Oh,
should,
yeah.
Yeah,
shouldn't they? And then they should be ready to go to full council for April.
for
Yeah.
April. So you've
And
got,
by
you've got
then-
enough time between now and April to
Yeah.
get, because quite a lot of the process for the main key ones has been done this year.
And the
Yeah.
training record is only really, that's down to Jan really to keep a list of.
The training log, isn't it?
There is a training
I
log,
don't
yeah.
think it's up to date though, is it?
I can't remember, it's on the,
It is on the drive,
Yeah.
but
but
we
it
need
hasn't
to
got
make
me
sure
on there
it's
for
correct.
anything.
Yeah,
So that's probably just something we can put on the to-do list.
Yeah.
For Brandy and Jan to
Yeah.
just get it up to date,
Yeah.
and
Well, it's
then.
not a big job, is it?
Especially now we've got the two gentlemen as well,
Mhm.
and they're going to be doing little bits and pieces in the next
Yeah.
few
The
weeks.
two
so-
gentlemen.
Colin.
Who's that then?
Club staff.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I forgot about them. I thought you were talking about new council.
For them as well, but I'm just,
Yeah.
but I mean, I know the data protection one was quite an, simple, one.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But I just think I'm mindful of April being overloaded.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll discuss the training courses at full council.
Yeah.
Do we need to discuss it at HR about keeping the training log up to date?
I don't think we do, so long as it's gone on John's to-do list.
It's
just
then
Yeah.
it's been- Yeah,
Yeah.
because then it's up to John to email anybody that needs
Yeah.
a nudge or,
Yeah.
because I haven't done
Yeah.
I mean, I've done data protection, obviously.
Yeah.
You haven't been on the council.
I've not done
new council.
I've done the new councillor training,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, okay, I thought you hadn't.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah, done that.
Any other agenda item requests for next meeting?
Not from me.
No?
Not
Not at the moment.
Okay. Item 67, confirm a date and venue of next meeting. I think we just keep it as usual.
January.
Yeah, sometime in
Because
January.
we call back together within
Yeah.
the next.
Okay, and then item 61, to discuss completed staff appraisals and agree action points where required to resolve to exclude press and public under Public Bodies Emission Act 1960 due to confidential nature of business to be transacted. All agree to move into closed
Agreed.
session?
Yes.
Agreed.
Item 62, to resolve to approve or decline a holiday request, to resolve to exclude press and public.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Item 60, update on an outcome in relation to a staff matter, to resolve to exclude press and public.
Agreed.
64, to agree to appoint a subcommittee to deal with the staff matter, excluding press and public.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Another one.
Item
Yeah.
65, to discuss and agree the reviewed budget for 2022-23. Resolved to exclude press and public.
Agreed.
Right, I shall close the meeting at 4:59.